Why do we care so much about the world and what's going on in the world and multipolarity? He goes, the Taliban stuff and the Russia stuff, that was just a joke for us. But these guys, they're actually serious about it. And it's like, yeah, we are serious about it. That's the thing. Like, it's not a joke for us. We actually were and are serious. Completely dead serious about it. But it got me thinking about something that I want to talk about. I think I might have touched on it before a little bit on stream. But it's this kind of problem I have, honestly, with the word globalism. Because I'm not going to say it, because it'll get clipped of me saying globalism is based. Because people have an undialectical, one-sided view of things. And they'll just pin you down on that. But I would just like to remind everyone of the Hezbollah flag, okay? Just begin from there. Just begin from there. And I want to introduce you to a concept that's different from... If we understand globalism in terms of liberal universalism and bourgeois cosmopolitanism, of course we reject it. But that is more a kind of ideology and an ideal and an aspiration. But the dimension, let's call it that, of globality, that is not an idea. That is not a concept. That's actually an objective development of world history. And some of the thinkers in the Age of Globality are like Malcolm X. Malcolm X was a thinker in the Age of Globality. He was saying that instead of the civil rights movement constantly petitioning the U.S. government, let's take it to the UN. That's what Malcolm X was saying. A lot of the great freedom fighters of the 1970s, 60s, these were thinkers in the Age of Globality. A lot of super-based people. I reject completely terrorism. I completely reject terrorism. But let's just say the PFLP and, all these different types of groups, MK in South, that was all like a single global thing going on. They were all working together. There was no notion of narrow parochialism. And I don't think that this dimension of activity and communication and reality, and I don't think that can be called international anymore. It's not enough to talk about internationalism. That's kind of superfluous. We are living in an age of globality, right? The information age is inherently an age of globality. The Iranian Revolution, that was a revolution in the age of globality. It was, in a sense, globalist, right? And I want to contrast that with the narrow parochialism of, this small nationalism, which I think is totally bankrupt and is just the other side of the coin of bourgeois cosmopolitanism. Globality is, first of all, we should recognize it as a dimension of world systems, okay? And multipolarity is an alternate form of globality. Multipolarity, polarity itself is a category of globality. I mean, a pole. What is a pole? A pole is a pole of the globe, okay? That's what a pole is. The problem is not globality per se. The problem is unipolarity, right? Where there's only one pole, which doesn't even actually have the substantive quality of a pole, but nonetheless, there's only one kind of hegemony that dominates the globe. That's what we reject. But we don't reject global civilization. We don't reject the age of the internet and, global communication and economic, integration. And we don't reject these kinds of things. Of course not. And if you don't believe me, think about Xi Jinping, because he says the same thing I'm saying now. He said there's a shared future for mankind. And we are not parochial, narrow-minded people who are trying to LARP as if, America exists in isolation from the rest of the world. And I find it interesting he talks about Muslim, because it's part of the next infrared PSYOP, which is going to be Rocky Mountain Islam. But it's interesting because there's a very close relation, in my view, between Islam and this new kind of dimension of... I mentioned Malcolm X already, right? And it's not the Islam of the ISIS cosmopolitan, antisocial national nihilists, I totally reject that. But I do like this notion of a higher calling of humanity, which is not a prescriptive universalism, but rather a way that humanity as a whole can recognize itself in common in a way that goes deeper than like a liberal universalistic form of human rights or something. It's more like at the level of the symbolic texture, of the signifier, the word, right? It's very difficult for me to explain this, but and it's not like a global country or something, or a global government I'm talking about. It's just more of this kind of acknowledgement and recognition of one humanity, which in a sense I accept. It's just difficult to talk about that when there's so much baggage according to which we associate this notion of one humanity with liberal universalism. And on that front, Dugin's critiques are completely legitimate, right? But once we accept that critique, and once we accept multipolarity, and once we accept a kind of plurality of civilizations and histories and poles, to me, Islam is a kind of gateway to a new ability to re-derive a sense of the universal, at least in my view, right? And I'm not talking about Salafism and all this nonsense. I'm talking about, if anything, again, they call me like I'm a Sufi Freemason or something. If anything, it's more a kind of mystical Sufi kind of view, right? It's definitely not, like I said, I don't like to talk about religion a lot because you know who's going to come after me? Actual, established, authoritative Muslims. Whether they're Sunni, whether they're Shia, it doesn't matter. If we try to create an American Islam, the first people that are going to try to destroy it are these established Muslims. So I don't even talk about religion because I don't want to deal with it. I'm already dealing with the gatekeepers of Western Marxism. I don't need to deal with the gatekeepers of Islam either, right? I can't fight a war on two fronts. Once we conquer Marxism, we're gonna just kidding. This is not this is literally just my crazy brain. It's not even like the consensus of the rest of the infrared showrunners. This is a purely Haas derangement. Anyway, guys, sorry. We're getting way ahead of ourselves, probably by like 10 years or something. Anyway, what was I saying? So so I'm not ashamed of that at all. I mean, this is a global war. I am fully committed to an American vanguard of multipolarity. America as part of the multipolar world. And that doesn't mean America will become some other country or lose its specificity. Far to the contrary. It means America can really be what it actually is, because its relationship with the rest of the world becomes clear with other civilizations. When that can become clear, then what we are can become clear, right? But he goes, I'm only 100% America. And it's like, in the age of the internet, it's kind of like there's no such thing. There's no such thing. Information and communication has no nation, really. In order to return to a national specificity, you have to pass through the kind of dynamism and abstraction and, dimension of globality. That's not cosmopolitanism, okay? They're very different. Cosmopolitanism is national nihilism. It's a negation of the nation. Globality is just a dimension within which nations or civilizations can derive a context from or out of, right? It's like China, for example. China, it has all of the dynamism and sophistication and, it has all of the kind of avant-garde features of a global civilization, but it's still uniquely and specifically Chinese, That's what globality means. It's not something that comes at the expense of national or civilizational specificity. On the contrary, a unique pole of a globe gives expression to a global civilization in a unique way. So, for example, one of the features of global civilization is recognition of the other. rather than a narrow, parochial, exclusive nationalism where, according to some features of race or religion or ethnicity, you completely and totally exclude others. In a global civilization, you can somehow integrate the recognition of others. And liberals put the twist on this, calling it multiculturalism. So for them, it's indiscriminate. It's an indiscriminate integration of others. But in China and Russia, it's actually different. There's a recognition of others, that they agree with global civilization, the respect for differences and right to autonomy and self-determination to an extent, tolerance of diversity, whatever you want to call it. But it's in a uniquely Russian way. It's in a uniquely Chinese way. And moreover, it's determinate. The various ethnic minorities and religious minorities in Russia have a historical relationship with the Russian ethnicities, right? Same thing in China. The Han ethnicity has a historical relationship with the Tibetans and the Uyghurs and, all these other kinds of religions and so on and so on. So it has the feature of global civilization, of the recognition of the other, but it's in a determinate way, right? And that is not narrow parochial nationalism. That is a determinate globality. That's what a pole is, That's what a civilization is. A civilization is not a pure ethnic race of people to the exclusion of others. A civilization is a specific way in which different people come into, agreement with each other and coexist. That's the meaning of civilization. So, I don't care, though. I don't care. I mean, at this point, it's kind of ridiculous. It's like right-wingers will cancel me. I mean, I don't give a fuck. Honestly, I don't give a fuck. It's like, think of whatever you want in terms of, you're actually... It's like when Nick Fuentes was trying to cancel me, saying, you're complaining about racism. It's like, so you're trying to cancel me from the right now? If you're trying to cancel me from the left, everyone knows what my response was. But you're trying to cancel me from the right, it's the same response. It's not different. I'm going to say what I want and what I believe is true. And I welcome anyone to respond to it substantively. But this whole virtue signaling thing of, well, you know what? Why don't you respond to what I have to fucking say, right? Anyway, and our receipts speak for themselves. I mean, Nick Fuentes, in the same breath that he's talking about, we're too international, this guy upholds the global hegemony. He wants regime change in Venezuela. He supports imperialism and colonialism. As much as he says he wants a based Catholic version. Translation, he supports the world system of American unipolar hegemony. And that's why he has these allies like Keith Woods, and that's why he's always, he got upset about the fucking Boers in South Africa and all that. He's a white internationalist who believes in pure white Europe or whatever, as if that's something Americans should care about. So he's just being a hypocrite. Jackson and I, we will make friends with people around the world, and we'll show them, like solidarity, but we're not going to try to intervene in their affairs. We're not going to pretend like it's the exact same thing, that what we're trying to do here is what they're doing over there. Like, for example, the American Communist Party, believe it or not, nobody gives us any orders. I promise you that. We take orders from no one, and we actually consider ourselves sovereign. So when we're making friends with people from other countries, that's a relationship of respect. That's not a relationship of us going and taking orders from anyone. That's a relationship built on respect, mutual respect. You understand? We are American communists. You understand? People, I don't know if this is somehow not understood. We are the American Communist Party, okay? We are fully sovereign. We are the American Communist Party, and nobody will ever have anything to do with us unless they give us the proper respect and recognition befitting of that title, And yeah, we have a sense of pride in this. And it's kind of crazy. I mean, it sounds like this is insanity, but it's like at this point, you know, a great deal of my patriotism for this country is attached to the pride I have in this party. Like, oh, you're patriotic, Haas. Like, yeah, I'm patriotic for the vision of America that's being forwarded by the American Communist Party. Like, that's what I'm patriotic for. Our red flag, our banner, our Communist Party. So yeah, it's very different though. It's like we understand the global context of our domestic struggle. We understand that struggling against the regime is inseparable from the imperialist global system upon which it rests. Okay? So I feel like that addresses everything, honestly.